It's just support, Tom!
Hey everyone, Optimus Tom here. It's been a little while since we've done some Pioneer videos in general and Pioneer gameplay specifically, so I'm going to be taking one of my own creation decks into the fray on Arena's Ladder. This is going to be the Rakdos Cutter deck. It's technically the second version of the Rakdos Cutter deck that I've done. The first one I did a long time ago at this point. When I got my hands on some Cori-Steel Cutters for Pioneer. Wanted to play specifically around with Cori-Steel Cutter, but I also really wanted to play around with Cecil Dark Knight. I felt like that there was an area of aggro strategy that could really put one and one together and make something happen. I wound up rounding it out with Inti, Seneschal of the Sun, and then in order to really kind of get this card advantage, low-cost spell thing going, basically took what the red aggro shells or even like that Rakdos Prowess Slick Shot Show Off was doing, replacing Show Off with Cori-Steel Cutter and therefore not really wanting to run the Fling package since things weren't getting absolutely huge. It was a bunch of go wide like 3 and 4 power things, but I wound up still going with some similar things like Kamado Faces Kakazan in order to pump them up a little early, get something else onto the battlefield. We still have Monstrous Rage, which not only triggers Prowess, but gives things basically +3/+1 until end of turn and then helps flip Cecil extremely quickly. And then looking at basically the way that the list was panning out, I have so many legends that I was able to kind of fit within the list that it turns on Mox Amber as not only a spell that works with your Cori-Steel Cutter, but then winds up functioning as a bunch of additional lands as well. So the deck list in conclusion of everything plays like an aggro deck. We do have a little bit of a long game, especially when I wind up playing like Claim Fame in order to get like extra damage pushed through on like turn 4 and turn 5 later on. And there's a couple of fun of one of legends in the list that don't necessarily need to be turned up to like the 2 and 3 quantities. When we do get them in certain circumstances, can be very, very powerful. We have a singleton copy of Garland, Knight of Cornelia. This one in and of itself functions sort of like a Dragon's Rage Channeler, where you're able to surveil the first when the card off the top of your library whenever you cast a spell for your turn. So that's going to be being played like early on in a game, and then going off of the Cori-Steel Cutter fixes all of our draws and fixes the top of our deck to maximize our Inti discards. We had Stalactite Stalker in a couple of earlier versions as well to really work with Inti and Smuggler's Copter. We've cut down to only one copy of Smuggler's Copter to kind of fly over in certain niche cases. I may wind up cutting that a little bit later on down the line if I don't like it. And then we wind up switching up the rest of the Stalactite Stalkers for Freya Crescent. It's a weird kind of inclusion, especially as a 1/1 for 1, but in this deck specifically, it helps us cast a turn 2 Cori-Steel Cutter and then also cast an additional spell so we can get the token right off of the get-go. And then Freya in and of itself is a flying threat on our turn, so it holds a Monstrous Rage extremely well, holds a Cori-Steel Cutter extremely well, and can help be part of that go wide and evasive strategy we're kind of looking for. In the sideboard, we have basically the best kind of Rakdos sideboard stuff we could think of. 4 copies of Thoughtseize, because we can just switch in for those fatal pushes and everything that we have in the main deck, run Thoughtseize instead. Couple copies of Torch the Tower for a little bit of extra removal, especially exile removal for some threats that we may need it for later on. Feed the Storm is our way to deal with mostly enchantments, but it's also larger creature removal in a pinch, and it doesn't matter if we lose a ton of life because we have Cecil, so flipping Cecil kind of helps us. Abrade deals with artifacts as well as creature-based things. Magebane Lizard for all the other Cori-Steel Cutter decks and all the other sorts of decks that are floating around, like Lessons that we're going to have to deal with. Sheoldred, the big bad baddie from Mono Black in and of herself, and just to kind of have a little bit of a longer game and come in against control decks alongside our Thoughtseizes, since we have a lot of creature removal we're going to be taking out. And then the Meat Hook Massacre, which I like as our board wipe or anti-token sort of strategy. It's not the greatest against opposing Cori-Steel Cutters, but as long as we cast Meat Hook Massacre for X=1, our tokens will get prowess, it'll pump up, and ours will survive, theirs will not. And if they wind up playing a spell in response, if we have another spell to cast, ours will survive, theirs will not if we dump extra points into it or extra mana into it. So all in all, the deck is going to be aggressive, it's going to be fast, and these games are going to be over pretty quick. So let's jump into queue. Let's see what we've got, and if it's a good start to our day. Waiting for opponent. All right, Sergeant Ego. Well, we lost the die roll, so very clearly we lose the game. All right. This in general is not like the greatest hand in the world, but it's also not the worst hand in the world, because we can go a little bit slower. We go Kumano, Garland, and then Cori-Steel Cutter. Hopefully we draw a land, Kumano as well, and that curves us out. In general, we want to be a little bit more aggressive. especially if our opponent is being equally as aggressive. Oh, this kind of looks like Convoke. Fun. Okay, so we have a Den of a Bugbear. We'll play our Kamado Faces Kakazan. Our Garland's going to be a 4-3. We have our 3 mana available. We can Cori-Steel Cutter and Kamado on turn 3. In general, we really want to be able to do like Cecil and then something and then Cori-Steel, or like Kamado followed by Cecil, Cori-Steel Cutter plus thing on 3. So this kind of has the basis of what we want to do. Our opponent, however, is popping off. Super popping off. Haven't seen Convoke in a hot minute. Oh, we might just be dead. That's a little unfortunate. I guess we'll play our Garland, and we may have to chump it for that boy. We're gonna get bushwhacked. Fun has never seen a Garland in their life before, outside of Final Fantasy Limited. Don't blame them. Put myself over here. Alright, here comes the Surge. Plus 1 plus 0 haste. This is 10, 15, so I think we just have to trade off. We take 12. Probably just dead, unfortunately. Because this is 2 plus 5 is 7. Okay, so we have a fatal push. The only problem is we have to shock ourselves in order to use it. It's like not the greatest thing in the world. Because we're not dead, but we go to 1. And I don't think we can actually win super hard off that, so this is where like Meat Hook Massacre and stuff comes. You got it, dude. Fixes their draw. They didn't draw a removal spell, otherwise like we'd just be dead. Okay. Fixes their draw again. This is a little more interesting. Oh, this is the Spider-Man card. And then we're just tapping these down. Yeah, we're like leaving this up, right? Tapping these. If they tap the creatures, we might be able to steal this game. Okay. They left 1 creature. Okay, so if that was a removal spell, we might have been able to do something. Right now we're just dead, so you might as well just attack and see what happens. Or if we played a land, bluff a spell, get 1 extra pump here. Still wouldn't have been enough. Alright, so let's go on to game 2. We know they're on Convoke, so we want to bring in things to kill their stuff. Bring in the Meat Hook Massacre. Probably don't want Shieldred, even though it's just like a big thing that gets in their way. We probably just want like all of our removal. And then like we don't need like things that are too slow. Like honestly, there's probably a couple of Intis that we can cut. Thing is, I don't want to remove like too many of our legendary cards because then our Mox Ambers don't go as well. But now I'm playing the Freyas and the Kellens, like the legend count is actually higher, so I don't have to worry about sideboarding out like the 12 legends that I have. Crocs is too slow, and then I need to cut like 1 more card. Maybe a Tinybones. Having 1 drop seems pretty good in this matchup though. They're not really killing my things, so maybe Claim Fame is the things we get rid of and we keep 1 of the Intis. Let's just see that. The Claim Fames are in here for removal spells, which there are a plethora of. I'm sure they might be bringing in some removal spells, but we'll see. Their deck is fast and had like one of their best hands we can kind of think of, right? Like one drop into Gleeful Demolition. This is really cool now because now I can do like Kellen on turn 1, Cori-Steel Cutter, Mox Amber, Monstrous Rage, or Fatal Push. So we'll just keep. Yee howdy. Human Ferris Scout. Play our Hive. So I can't, if I want to get the token, I can't play the Fatal Push. I can just do this and then have Monstrous Rage up. The only like awkward tension part of this deck is the fact that sometimes in order to trigger our Cori-Steel Cutter, we have to cast our Monstrous Rage main phase, which is probably going to have to main phase both of these next turn if we want to proc it. So that'll get us a 2-2. That'll also get us a 3-3. And then Monstrous Rage kicks in. Oh man, I think, okay, so they're not going to tap the Novice Inspector. Yeah, I was like, that'd be crazy. Can we level up Kellen? We level up Kellen. We play land. So if we level up Kellen, yeah, we have to play land to do that. That's fine. So we play land. Fatal Push the Warden. Can level up Kellen. Then main phase a Monstrous Rage. Bash. Then like we probably might burn a spell here, which is not the greatest, but maybe we could have leveled up Kellen end of turn. So we burned through a land. But we can threaten double strike Kellen next turn. Any spell, any 1 mana card is another Cori-Steel Cutter token. Okay. We can double spell, they're dead. Cosmic Grandson. Oh, Ornithopter. Come on, man. So they're no longer dead. This is hovering when I do this. Let's see. If I double strike Kellen, I can't equip the Cori-Steel Cutter on it. If I equip the Cori-Steel Cutter, it's just a 4/3. If I do this, it has trample, so it's 3. So it can kill both things. Kind of forgot that it gets a +1 because of 3/2 as well. So this kills them. This 8, and they can absorb 6 of it. 2, 4, 5. They're at 1. Any spell would have killed them. Fatal Push specifically would have killed them. This is 4. That's the same amount of damage. Then I can flip over a land or something. Cool, we'll play this Tinybones specifically. Alright, so not dead. Potentially winning, but not 100%. Opponents at 1s with Stiff Breeze will knock them over, but... Okay, it's like they have land, Khazagran Zenith, land, Novice Inspector. They have a pretty solid setup. Alright, so... I don't know if there's anything we really want to do on the play that changes that. I think we're just going to run it back. See what happens to Sergeant Ego. But that's about where Mox Amber, because we were basically a turn ahead of the Convoke deck, even though the Convoke deck generally is the one that's like multiple turns ahead of people when they're able to like play a ton of things, you know, like in a succession. So being able to utilize that Mox Amber to be like a turn ahead specifically on the play is why like players like Ross Miriam are always so like super high on like these Boros Legends decks and these decks that are like abuse Mox Amber in that way. This like hand isn't the best for our aggressive start, but we have a 2/3 wall against the aggro deck and then 3 removal spells. So if we're able to burn through 3 of their threats with this hand, we should be able to come out ahead, as long as they don't like get a very value Convoke off of like turn 2. Which means like, oh, okay, this is even better. Which means like I do have a small thing to consider of playing Cecil versus removal spell on their first 1-drop. I don't think that there is a threat of them, unless it's specifically Gleeful Demolition, they can't Convoke something out this turn. Perfect. And they can tap all their stuff down. I can just kill the Warden. I can even attack into the Warden and see if they want to block. Okay, now I can just like, yes, please. I will gladly. I think I just want to attack. And then... Oh, wait, hold on. That already has 3 toughness. I had to push it. I almost screwed myself over there. Reading the card, of course, explains the card. It's like if that was their big plan, then cool, I just ruined it, which is great. Favorite Inspector. This is probably going to get torched. Lethal Demolition is a little problematic, but here I can like stop a Convoke out for something big. Granted, they didn't have the other thing already. Okay, cool. So let's play our Sulphur Springs, play our Cori-Steel Cutter, and I guess we'll just blow up one of these Goblin tokens so our Cecil doesn't die. Is there a scenario where like this attack actually kills me? I'm at 12. Playing 2 things, surging everything out. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. I could die, yeah. I could have. I probably might have wanted to keep my monk token back. Okay, so that one specifically keeps me alive because it doesn't have 1 power. But the problem is now is my Cecil can't attack. So I might have killed myself. Unless... No, I'm still dead. So, because I can Mox Amber and then animate my Den of the Bugbear, that doesn't activate Cori-Steel Cutter. Alright, well at least we know that I killed myself here. Is there a play? Don't think there is. This is just gonna kill me, so I guess we'll go out on our own terms. I literally set myself up for the only scenario where I die, which in this case is to my own Cecil, so. That's the downside of Cecil in some of these aggro matches, is like, oh cool, I got myself exactly in the spot where I'm gonna lose to my own Cecil. But MTG Cowfish 1. ASMR with a seltzer. Okay. And we're gonna keep. We have Cecil, we have Cutter, and we're against red. We have many a Cecil. This is one of the games where I could potentially Cori-Steel Cutter, Cecil, Legend Rule, get a monk token. That's fine, because we have replacement Cecils. Replacement Cecil. We have 2 replacement Cecils. But we'll just hold up the Fatal Push for whatever bigger thing that they play here. I think I'll take the damage. There could have been a reason to not take the damage. Searing Blood. I see. I don't like that. But we're just going to flip our own Cecil. Then we're going to do a Cori-Steel Cutter. We just can't block because we'll get Searing Blood. Monastery, so Spear. Oh, okay, now we can. Well, I think they realized that the Cecil was gonna hard carry us there. So yeah, that's what Cecil does sometimes. It just hard carries the game. I think they're just playing mono red aggro, maybe a Power C style build. I don't think Mage Vein Lizard's really gonna matter. I'm just bringing in Shieldred to stonewall them and as many different ways to kind of like kill their creatures as possible. This is again going to be a matchup where like I'm taking out some of like the smaller, like the things that don't interact with things on the board super favorably. Garland might actually be something to take up, but since I'm putting in like so many spells, I kind of want to try keeping it in. Instead, I think, honestly, Kellen might not be the greatest here. It's a 1 toughness thing. I'm going to keep the Cecils in. I know people who like taking them out, but nah, we live on the edge. This might just be like another place where we take out Inti. I know Freya is very fragile here. Oh, I want the Meat Hook Massacre in this matchup. Do I want Meat Hook Massacre? They have things that they can pump up, but I'm putting Meat Hook Massacre in. Think Freya might be slow. Let's take a look at how many actual creatures we have now. 13. All of them are legends. It's still good enough. Which means like I don't really want to cut another Inti here. I could just cut a Claim Fame, but they might be burning my things to death enough that it's worth having them. Firebrain Scheme gives us some card advantage, so like I'm inclined to keep that in. Maybe I just cut 1 Claim Fame, keep 13 creatures. But like, the Claim Fame isn't going to help with Shieldred either, so that might just be a case where it's like, cool, our game plan now is we don't need to play as aggressive, we have Shieldred. But that's example of a hand where like flipping Cecil very early on is extremely good. All right, so we're gonna keep this hand. We have Meathook Massacre, which X equals 2 is probably good enough to mess with a lot of what they're going to be doing. We have our Torch the Tower. We have an Abrade. Now we have a Fatal Push as well. So, like... I guess there's no reason to shock ourselves right here. Because they could just lightning strike our Cecil again. I don't really feel like getting shocked or monstrous raged. Okay. If I Inti, Cecil becomes 3 power. That puts me to 14. Next turn, I could threaten a Cecil flip. I could just Torch the Tower and hold up Fatal Push. It's probably better. Let's do that. And if I want to, next time I could shock and still flip Cecil. Oh, interesting. See, and this is where, like, playing with Cecil is such an interesting mini game against these aggro decks. Are you gonna strike it? Okay, you lightning strike it. That's fine. I'm gonna play the Kamano. I don't have a creature to follow it up with next turn, but it'll flip into a 2/2 in 2 turns. I could find a creature off of Inti. They did not kill my Inti. They were searching for something. That's not it, because they put it on the bottom. Light up the stage, finds Ramanamp Ruins, and light up the stage. You might as well. Vibrance! I mean, I guess Vibrance is 3 damage, right? Find a creature. Oh no! Hard punish my land. Well, sometimes you get hard punished. Hit him with the oops. The worst part is now that Vibrance is going to kill our Inti. So now we only have our 2/2. Oh. Hit face? That's why. They had a Alright, and they're just gonna have to deal with this 2/2. We also have a tiny bone. We can maybe cast their Vibrance. Well, they're casting it for the full 5. That's a problem for us. This is not what I expected to be in this deck, especially after seeing like prowessy type stuff in Wizards. Okay. I don't know how we deal with that. I found out how we deal with that. Biggest downside is that you pitch that land and then never found another one. Oh, this game looks so different if we play that Shieldred, but I got greedy with my Inti draws, the Inti discards. There are certain parts of this deck that feel really punishing when you play it incorrectly like that. Okay, we got burned for 3 in the face. We get burned for 3 in the face again, so we're just dead to the Ramnop runes, right? Okay, so game 3. Yep, game looks completely different if we play that land out and then discard like Meathook Massacre. Knowing that they barely had any creatures now, like this Meathook Massacre does not look good at all. So we take out the Meathook Massacre. They had way more spells. I'm just going to put these Magebane Lizards in. I'm going to take out Garland as the fun of. And just run it like this. So we still have 12. We have 14. 12 of them are legends. Oh, some of them are Shieldred. Because at some point, like taking out a Mox Amber might be correct. But like, I think I'm just overthinking it. Could put back into Claim Fame, but I'm just gonna run it. And just not get greedy and discard our on curve mana. And we have 4 drops in our deck now. Cool. We're gonna Kamano and then Cecil, because Cecil will be 4 toughness then. Even though it means that we don't get to attack with Cecil for a hot minute. We have an answer to their first creature that they play. Potentially an answer to their second creature by attacking the Cecil. There we go. Cecil has 4 toughness. Pretty solid. Attack and burn spell us. It'd be like 5 damage maximum. 4 damage off of like a play with fire. Cecil flips. So like no reason to block here. I am going to push the Swiftspear though. See if they have like a hexproof spell or something. Cool. Let's flip the Cecil. I guess I didn't have to do that. If I do this, it lives. And they're at 6. Monstrous Rage and Cecil is just a combo. Or monster. Did I have fun? Sure. I got to cast Cecil. Stalactite Stalker gives us a little bit of extra synergy with Smuggler's Copter and Inti, which I kind of like, but it gives us less legends from Mox Amber. I did design the deck originally for 12 legends or 13 legends so that Mox Amber was online anyway, but this version is letting me run an additional copy of Heroes Hangout because of that. Oh, we get to be on the play. And whew, yeah, we do. This is like exactly what I wanted the deck to do. All right. Great content hand. Awesome content hand. Anyway, but yeah. Freya and a Stalactite Stalker had a couple of hands where it was like a removal spell, which is pretty cool. but also grows an Inti and Smuggler's Copter. And look, there's the Freya, just like we were talking about. Just like we drew it up. Unfortunately, we don't have red off of a legend here, so we can't just cast Freya on top of all this. But if this is like mono green devotion, we just have to be very, very aggressive. This is Selesnya Company. I also think that they can overtake us fairly easy. I think in this case, I'm going to play an Inti, pitch the Inti. And then, or play an Inti, play a Freya, and then pitch Inti on Cecil. Oh, it's like scales. Okay. I haven't done the math, but discard a card. Do I want to put the counter on here? I think I want to put the counter on here after all, so because Cecil's already going to do it. I was like, I haven't done the math, but can we get Cecil to flip? The answer is no. Cool. I'm just going to post-combat this Kamano, because otherwise it goes away for forever. Get them down to 9, and then hopefully they don't have some shenanigans that just kill us. So trample right now. I can use Freya mana to equip Cori-Steel Cutter if I want to, but I can also just equip Cori-Steel Cutter onto Freya. Creature spell. Okay. Awesome. So we have Fatal Push. How do we want to draw this up? I can Fatal Push the Llanowar Elf. That'll pump everybody here up to this will be 3, this will be 2. That would trade. If I put this onto Freya, it's at least 2. They block the highest one, would be 3, so it's 2, 4, 6, 8. They're not quite dead. Okay, let's start with the easy one. The other thing I could do is like chance it and discard to Inti, but there's no reason to do that when I think that's just heads up murder. Cool. All right. Well, we're just only playing creature based deck, so we're gonna put in removal, take out the Copter, take out the Croxa. Croxa hasn't done anything, even though Croxa like on the stack floating mono with Mox Amber is good. So removal. I bet they have some form of fight spells, but we didn't see them, so we'll take out our Claim Fames, maybe just call it a day. Maybe do I want, like, they're getting a lot of counters on stuff. I don't really know if I want Mukic Massacre. Might want like a Sheoldred, but I think we're gonna try to be the aggro deck even though we're on the draw. So maybe that's the wrong way of thinking about it. Kellen can get double strike. Tinybones has death touch. I'm gonna take out a Kellen and put in a Sheoldred and just see what that does. Besides like having me discard the land, I need to cast said Sheoldred later on. Nobody's business. Ain't nobody's business but mine. And my opponents. Ooh. Not the strongest hand. Oh, well, they gave up. 1 day later. Hey everybody, we're back after I had to deal with some real life things, sleeping, eating, working, etc. But we got more Rakdos Cutter on the list, and this might be one of the first games we've actually drawn Kroxa. This in and of itself is not the greatest hand choice because I don't know what my opponent is playing, and chances are that this might not be great. I am going to mulligan, hopefully getting some 1-drops along with this Cori-Steel Cutter, which, yeah, this is a pretty solid hand. My options are putting back Tinybones or putting back a land. I am probably just putting back a land here. And we're going to start off with Cecil. If this is control, I might want to play the Cori-Steel Cutter first. I think is what we're going to do. Combo. Thassa's Oracle. I think I figured out what we're doing. The downside to this, though, unfortunately, is that I don't have a way to trigger my Cori-Steel Cutter here. However, we do have an Inti to potentially find ourselves a land. So we'll pitch the Smuggler's Copter. We find our land. And now we'll just play the Tinybones so we get the Cori-Steel Cutter. And now we're looking at 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. Discarding goes to 9. Cool. Alright, there's a Monastery Mentor here. So let's do this. Swing with the team. Discard here. Counter on Inti. Find a land. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Guess we'll flip our Cecil and we can play a Thassa's Oracle. I guess we'll do that and then have the center tapped. This does not have Revolt triggered because Cecil flips. It doesn't actually leave and come back. Gonna Helping Hand? Faithful Mending. Yep, you get a monk. So I know we have a Tinybones on top too, so like... Doing the picklock prankster thing again. Ooh, there's the Oculus. The Helping Hand comes back. Pass the turn. Thing is though, if I, So do I want to do this? So I could steal their Oculus. If I kill one of these monks and they let Tinybones through. No, because I can Fatal Push the Monastery Mentor. But then I can't discard anything to Tinybone, to Inti. I think it's fine though. All these are indestructible. They take 4. And then I just have to deal with an Oculus. Might have been a reason to move the Cori-Steel Cutter over to Cecil. Like, I might just do that now. Just to have it on him. He's the biggest thing. He can trample over the Oculus this way. They do get another Monastery Mentor, though. Which they decide to helping. Do they have a second helping hand? Okay, Call Surprise Witness makes sense. But they get another Monastery Mentor. I don't know if this is going to work out for them the way they want. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 total. So Cecil won't trample over. But if I give something else trample, they can't just block, block, block. So I think we do it this way, even though we have something there. Oh, that's unlucky. That's a second Inti. This might be the incorrect attack. This is lethal right here, and they can't just chump here. This is 6. So Cecil is already threatening lethal here. They have to all block Cecil. And if they block 3 and 3, they take 1, 3. That's lethal without these here. The normal equipment of the Cori-Steel Cutter. The hidden extra mode. Oh, this one queued up for best of 1. Guess this will be a bonus match to put in the spot of the Goglari one that unfortunately didn't wind up working. I think my opponent is just roping because of that too. I thought I had queued up for best of 3 for this one, but hey, you get a bonus match now. A singleton best of 1 match against a deck in place of what would have been the second game for the Goglari matchup. But yeah, equipping here, making it trample over. If I did not do that and I kept the fatal push, what would have happened? I could have gotten rid of 3, so 3 would have trampled over anyway. So I actually don't know if that was a better idea or not. It just presents a blocker that can trample over any of their things unless they double block it that doesn't die like Cecil can there. So the deck can mulligan pretty well. But we're back at it. Full on best of 3. See what Toshiaki has. Cecil, Cori-Steel Cutter, Inti. We can pitch a redundant Cori-Steel Cutter if we really want to. Leyline of Anticipation. I don't know what I'm signing myself up for in this match. Let's find out. Is this like a mono blue devotion deck? That'd be pretty sweet. All right, let's see if we walk into counter magic. It could be Merfolk Trickster. Could just be Essence Scatter. All right. Are we going to unable to scream at instant speed? Whew. Very interesting. All right. Opponent's cooking. What they're cooking, not entirely sure. What it has done, unfortunately, is kind of shut off my Cori-Steel Cutter angle unless I want to kill my own Inti. It's like, I'm actually not opposed to. If they counter this? Sure. Are you going to counterspell it? Because I have this claim fame that I could just reuse to get Inti back. And if they are a devotion deck, now I'm cutting off a source of devotion. Instant speed Mu Yan Ling? They can't make the elemental at instant speed though, so. Alright, they've tapped out for stock up. Unless they have Spell Pierce. Ooh, that's a pretty good one. Cast Cori-Steel Cutter number 2. Cast Mox Amber. Cast Claim on Inti. Why don't I get... because I had to attack first, right? So here, here, here. Is there going to be, like, unenable to scream? Sure. Actually, no. Probably shouldn't have attacked with Cecil. Because I can fame Cori-Steel Cutter next turn. Cool. I don't know what opponent is cooking. But opponent has a lot of instant speed thingies. So we're putting in Thought Seizes. I'll put in Magebane Lizard. This might be a spot to do it. I guess we'll get rid of the Claim Fames, and we'll get rid of the Fatal Pushes. They didn't show any creatures. I mean, they have the Mu Yan Ling to make a token. Maybe, like, it makes more sense to, like... Well, Smuggler's Copter's probably slow. Croxa actually might be halfway decent here. Maybe there's, like, a argument for keeping a Fatal Push, or... doing Torch the Tower instead because it hits Planeswalkers. Maybe we'll just keep a Fatal Push. They have to have like some sort of token generation, right? We have 18 creatures this way. 16 of them are legendary. Maybe it's cut a Kellen and put a second Fatal Push back in just in case. Yeah, we'll just roll like this. Man, I'm really confused as to what's happening here, but kind of like what opponent is doing to an extent. They have another Leyline of Anticipation opening. This is like, should I just like look up Leyline of Anticipation decks? This is something I haven't seen before. Maybe the opponent's got the hot new tech, Leyline of Anticipation. Meanwhile, this hand is a little awkward. There's nothing in like the past like 30 days or so. What about like the past 60? No, nothing. Opponent is cooking hot off the press. We're going to mulligan this hand though. This hand, however, looks fantastic. I do kind of want to Thought Seize on two, but Garland seems very good. I think I am going to put back Garland, though. The other thing is put back Mountain. A little hitter. I'll try putting back Mountain. See if I can operate on low resources. Sunken Citadel. Alright, well this sort of changes things. Not really, though. I still want to be able to Thought Seize them, and I can't Thought Seize and Cecil next turn if I play the Kamano. I think if I'm assuming they have counter spells, I want to do this to ensure I stick something. Oh, they're playing Days Undoing. Interesting. So they just want to do that at instant speed. I mean, I think I'm like okay with that because I could throw my hand down. So maybe I just hit the stock ups. I'll give them the stock ups. I'll just hit the one of. Okay, well now I could have done that. But what we will do is we want to play our Den of the Bugbear. Because that'll enter tap next turn. What is holding priority? I guess whatever they drew. Okay, stock up number 1. They're mono blue. They might have Aetherize or the water thing. Alright, let's Inti pitch Tinybones. Maybe we hit a land? No, we hit a redundant Inti. That's fine. We don't need a redundant Inti. Okay, so they are devotion. To some extent. Two, 5, 8, 9. Sleep magic. Okay. Cecil is Sleppy. So this untaps Cecil. So there's like sort of a reason to do that. I think here I'm going to prioritize finding something to do over getting my Den of the Bugbear mana online, which might be wrong. Hey, there we go. I'm cool with this. Ah, unlucky. You can pop off now. I dare you. I didn't miss. Blasted the thing, snatched my bolt out of the air and ate it. Lila, slick shot boss. We have, if they want to cast like a bunch of spells in a turn with their devotion, we have an answer to that. What they basically need to do is like Narset, land, Narset, that gets their devotion up to 3. Find Days Undoing, Days Undoing. Because they can activate Nykthos with Sunken Citadel. Okay. They fresh start my Inti, so Inti loses all abilities. Okay, so let's play Garland. See what they do. And then I guess we will Thoughtseize them. What you got going on there, opponent? Hurt myself for a couple of damage. That'll potentially untap my Cecil. Oh. Well, Cecil has to deal damage, never mind. I've been sort of misreading that card. 2, 3 total mana. Oh, 1 mana Psych Rift. Ooh, they just have all lands in hand. All right, so we're just. You have no abilities, right? Yeah, you're just reaching your attack. Are you a land too? Okie dokie. I'm gonna keep that one. Seems pretty good. 4, 6, and they die to a spellcast. The Riddler. Draw your pathetic card, Yugi. Alright, well. Unlucky for opponent. They were cooking with something with their Blue Devotion and their Day's Undoing, but it just didn't work out for them. Oh well. Fun deck, though. Alrighty. We got the Kithkin avatar now. Alright, we're on the play. Yeah. I'd be tempted to play Freya in case we draw Cori-Steel Cutter, but we can just cast Cori-Steel Cutter anyway, so. This is just a Cecil angle. Okie dokie, we did not draw Cori-Steel Cutter. Yeah. You are a control deck. Oh man. Goodbye, land. We don't need you where we're going anyway. Try to counterspell my Kamana. That's what I thought. Get lost? Cool. I'll play the Smuggler's Copter, which Freya is going to crew next turn. I'm on 0 cards. I guess I map. Show me what you've got. I'll keep the Kamano. Yes. I could have drawn Garland there. Flip. Now hold on to this map because this Kamano's going to flip. So if they Day of Judgment. I mean, we don't even need to really because Smuggler's Copter is here. But it'll give us a couple of ways to go. Consulting. Oakley dokley. Alright, cool. I was like, what do you have? Because Cecil's going to make other things indestructible. So we want our Shieldrids. We want our Thought Seizes. Do we want Mage Rain Lizard? They're only really casting like one spell a turn. I don't think we need Mage Rain Lizard. Okay, things we don't want. We probably still want Croxa. I don't actually know if we want Fatal Push. Those are definitely out. And then we need 2 cuts. In my head, the cuts are somewhere between Inti, Claim Fame, and Freya. I like Freya to sneak Cori-Steel Cutter in if like on turn 2, but they're on the play, so they have like nowhere to run mana. Smuggler's Copter seems okay against them because it's something on the board that's not a creature, so their creature kill spells don't deal with it. And then Claim Fame is good against board wipes like Day of Judgment, which makes me think that maybe the cuts are like one Inti and the one Kellen. Kellen is like my aggro plan, though. If I cut the Kellen, I'm still at 16 creatures, and most of them are legendary. I think I'm just going to cut the Kellen and call it a day. Keep the Freyas in. See if that does anything different. Alrighty then. What do we got? It's not like the sideboard hand that we went for, but it's still a pretty strong aggro opener, so we're going to keep it. Oh, yeah. All right. Let's throw down our Black Cleoclifs. We'll throw down an Inti. Do they want to kill Cecil? Do they want to counter something? What's going on? Alright, they march Cecil. So we have an Inti. And then next turn we can Cori-Steel Cutter Tinybones. Yeah, and then we have a Shielder to follow it up with. That's pretty sick. Alright, so Cori-Steel Cutter. Does it get interacted with? Awesome. Gonna throw down Tinybones. We'll attack. We will decline. And we'll see if like this eats a board wipe, and if it does, we just slam Shieldred. They don't have any non-land permanents. Okay, so they did play Supreme Verdict. I'm going to take this as my opportunity to just slam Shieldred. They might have removal for it, but they're down low on cards. Okay, so they get lost. If one of these was a creature land, though, I'd be in like really good shape now. This is awkward. Especially if this gets countered. Real awkward, because I don't have like a way to... I don't have anything to activate onto. Worst part is like Shielder doesn't even really punish a ton of things, because there's no real card draw in this deck anymore. Teferi is real card draw, but...
I know what must be done. You know what? I'm not.
I will take a creature. Not quite a creature, but it could become creatures. Oh, cool. I'm gonna take Thoughtseize. Oh, that's unfortunate for them. Bye-bye, Teferi. This is bigger than Beza. Oh man. Bye-bye, Monk Token. Whee! Alright, well. Now we're in trouble. Top decking second Teferi, definitely not good for us. If I don't draw something to double spell with this turn to kill Teferi, then I think I just concede. Okay, cool. Did not draw something to double spell with. So they had a bunch of removal. They have... Board-wise, we know about that kind of stuff. I just don't know if there's anything that we could do better here besides like drawing Thoughtseize earlier and like drawing our card advantage a little easier. It makes me kind of want to keep Inti a little bit more. Maybe it's better than running the other Garland. Let's just try it. And they're not casting multiple spells per turn. I know they have like bases and stuff. We're not bringing in Feed the Swarm for that. I didn't see Temp Lockdown. That would be one reason to bring in Feed the Swarm if I knew they had that. It's a little slow, but I'm going to mulligan it. We have better sixes. Put back the pathway. And let's see. Do they have the March of Otherworldly Light on turn 1? They do not. Ooh, Temple instead of Surveil Land. Instead of Meticulous Archives. On the bottom. Oh, this is dirty. Oh, this is dirty. Oh, and they just have a 3 steps ahead? Oh, this is dirty. They have an Agonjo. Like, you kill Cecil here, right? Oh, you don't kill anything. I like Monstrous Rage. If they 3 steps ahead, that's 2, 5, 7 dead. If they kill Cecil, this is 1, 2, 3. They won't kill Cecil, they'll kill this. It would be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Do I chance the double spell? No, I think I'm going to do this. Kill here. 8. Should I have equipped... Ooh, if I equipped Cori-Steel Cutter to Cecil... Well, then they just kill Cecil. But is that one... No, it's not 1 more damage because Cecil just gets the +1/+1 from the Cori-Steel Cutter. Alright, so now they're on Board Wipe or Bust. And if I top deck a creature, they lose. Well, now they're just dead. That was the nut draw for this deck against something like that. Whew. Cecil, Cori-Steel Cutter, Mox Amber, Thoughtseize against Control. My turn 2, their turn 1 when they played a tap land. That's why I like this deck. Like playing like the older versions of the deck, you don't get to have that extra turn advantage like you get to have there in that specific circumstance. So if like you do that with like the Rakdos Aggro, the mono red fling deck, right? Like you do have a turn like that. We don't Thoughtseize the same turn we play a Slick Shot Show Off. We plot a Slick Shot Show Off and pass the turn, play Slick Shot Show Off, and then Thoughtseize. So that's turn 3. And sure, that still gives you 3 damage from the Slick Shot, not even giving like the other 2 potential spells that you cast. But we got 4 damage on them with the Cori-Steel Cutter. So if you do like 2-drop and then plot Slick Shot, we had an additional 2 damage from the turn before, and then potentially 2 more spells to deal an additional 3 damage from the old monk with 2 from the new monk. So yeah, Mox Amber really turning up the heat and really showing why it's a force to be reckoned with in decks like this. I personally really enjoy this deck. I had gotten the idea from a modern deck I saw running Dragon's Rage Channeler, Ragavan, things like that, and I just wanted to try to recreate a deck that could do something similar. Cecil, I think, is a very powerful addition to it and gives you like a protection aspect if you're able to flip him early on. And we saw we can flip Cecil pretty early with our shock lands, our pain lands, and just the aggressiveness that we have with Monstrous Rage too. Cori-Steel Cutter on a Cecil, giving it trample, lifelink later on and protecting our team. Very, very strong. So I think this deck could potentially be the real deal. I think that it is definitely not the strongest Cori-Steel Cutter deck in Pioneer. It's very difficult to do that when it is floating around and like right in front of your face. I think it's better than some of the Gruul variants, and I do think that it's less all in, which is weird because I was very low on cards at different points in time. I think it's less all in though than the Rakdos quote unquote fling decks and those kinds of decks. So I think this is a potential option to explore. There's obviously ways you could probably make it better. I do have a couple of things like Smuggler's Copter in the Inti package and things like that. I don't know if Freya is the way to go. I should go back to Stalactite Stalker if I'm still running Inti and go down to the 13 Legends, and then I can just wind up cutting Stalactite Stalkers. I need to bring in more spells. I'm not entirely sure with that. However, I do know this is a fun deck to play, and if you want to build the deck just like this, you can look at my deck list down in the description below. And if you're looking to buy cards, you can use my affiliate link for ManaPool down there. If you click that link, you'll get extra bonus mana when you sign up for the website or use the code when you're actually ordering for things. And it helps me out a little bit by helping to support the channel if you use my code and order through ManaPool, because it does benefit me in a little bit there. So if that's something you're interested in, everything for the information is down in the description below the video. If you enjoyed some gameplay videos like this, I've done a little bit of standard prep for RCQs, and when I was prepping for Portland, I haven't been playing as much Pioneer. We're looking at getting the stream set up back at Card Art, so hopefully that's going to be something that we do very, very soon, so we can bring you more paper Pioneer gameplay. But until then, if watching some VOD replays of me playing online or playing Moto or something like that is what you would like, give the video a thumbs up and let me know in the comments down below. Also, if you would like to help support my channel, like this video and the channel in general monetarily, you can become one of my members. Members get awesome benefits like Discord access, direct lineup access to me through there, as well as being able to shoot deck tech ideas over. We can converse about that kind of stuff. And you also get members only content like some of the prep work I did for Portland, as well as longer text posts and deck breakdowns of things that I've been playing and working on there. So if you want to do that, you can click the join button down below or on my channel's homepage to show your devotion. But you could also just click that subscribe button. Just give it a quick little tap there. Helps you stay up to date on all sorts of deck techs, metagame analysis, and just in general, Magic the Gathering gameplay and content from me. Cheap is free, and I'll keep you up to date. See you in the next video.